Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Turn negative situations around. And this is a very key thing. You know what? There's always going to be some negative, something that you ain't feeling, something bad. Something's going to come up. I don't care. I don't care how well everything is going for you. Something's going to come up. Think something's going to break down. You might not feel as well one day, though you need to be working on your health, but something is going to come up. And you know what? Honestly, you got to learn to turn that around. One thing my dear grandmother, who's an ancestor now, said, there's always a silver lining. Whenever something comes up, first of all, what do I always say? Stop and breathe. Unless it's something that requires your immediate reaction. Of course, if it's something that you got to make a decision right there, by all means, do it. Handle it right there on the spot. But a lot of stuff you can think on. A lot of stuff can be, you see something coming. It's like, oh, this is a bad thing. Let me see how I can fix this. You stop, breathe, sleep on it if you have to, but then start turning it around. Figure out how you can say, hey, this can be a good thing for me. This can be a good situation. Oh, this could be a time to get a new product or, repair something, whatever the case is, you got to turn it around. Because in a negative situation, it probably didn't start out that way. It could have started out in a good way. But, circumstances happen, situations happen, and it becomes negative. But you got to have the attitude of turning it around. See, a lot of people, when these things happen, they stay in that negative energy. They stay down in the dumps and everything. And it's just like, okay, this happens. You were thrown into that hole. You just don't sit there. You work your way out. Now, is it always going to be? Well, sometimes it's going to be easy. Yeah, sometimes it'll be a simple thing. Sometimes there's a simple solution. Sometimes it's harder. But for every man-made problem, or even a lot of problems in nature, it's easily solved if you just sit there and think about it. And first you look for the silver lining, And sometimes even when it happens, as long as it's not life-threatening, you might even just smile, just say, you know what, I needed a new one of these, or you know what, I see how a person really is now. Because one of the things I found in life is you think of it as negative, but then once you start turning it around and you grow beyond it, you'll look back at the situation or something and might say, you know what, that wasn't a bad thing to happen. I give it a point, and I've talked about this a few times, when I had to get a new laptop, right? Now, I had a bunch of stuff on my old desktop, but, once I got the new laptop, it was a little bit of an annoyance. But once I got the new laptop, I'm like, wait a minute. This is better. Everything is working faster. It's actually been very efficient for my business. And it's just like, wow. And it could be all of that. It could be a negative situation, could be a mate, relationships. A mate cheating on you or doing something wrong. And yeah, it's a definitely negative situation. You feel bad, but the bright side is you see who that person is that you're dealing with. And a lot of people who've dealt with that situation end up with a better person in the long run and just a better life. And they look back at that and just say, hey, that was a great thing. Even when in relationships, when you get rejected, there's been, and look, I'm going to be real with you. There's been some women who've rejected me in the past. And then I see them years later and I was like, man, I dodged a bullet. Because I didn't let it get to me. See, the thing with any negative situation, and I just use those examples because everybody can relate to relationships, but it might be a job. I remember there was a job. It was one of the few jobs I was fired from. I'll share that. I ain't gonna share who it was because it was complicated, right? But it was one of the best things that ever happened. And I look back at it, I wasn't mad. I was like, man, I got out of there soon. Let's just say it was kind of like a young startup business. And let's just say they had some issues afterwards, some major issues. I was like, man, I wasn't a part of it. I was already gone. I actually laugh about it. Even at the time, I laughed about it because I saw the problems then. And that was part of the issues too, because I was pointing out the problems, but they wouldn't listen. But, it is what it is. But whatever the situation, negative situation, work to turn it around. Just work to turn it around. All right? Take your time with it. Look for the silver lining because it could be telling you something. It could be preventing something even bigger negative happening later on. If you deal with that small thing or whatever size it is, then you probably prevent something down the road, and it might even put you on a path to where everything is just totally positive for you. All right? So that's all I had for today. I want y'all to think on it. As always, keep rising and transforming. Peace.